But this is my struggle right here, and maybe you've had some of the same struggles. My only thing is, for things to truly change, it's going to take the people that we are helping to overall bring those changes. And sometimes I'm gonna be honest, I get frustrated.
Oh
You
yeah.
do these programs, you do this, you giving that, and it just feel like oh my god, like they just taking out. Why they not getting involved? Why they not moving at the pace I want them to move? I done came out here 4 or 5 times and they still just taking that. They're not showing interest in being involved in their own area. Even like they say trash. You go in the neighborhood, you pick the trash up. You do that 5 times, and you still don't get nobody in their own community to come help you pick the trash up. Then after a while, you looking at you and your comrades, you're like, man, fuck this shit. I ain't doing this shit no more. They ain't coming out here and helping pick up the trash. Like, how can we get through that? Like, we only human as well too. After a
Oh
while,
yeah.
we like, man, fuck this shit. Like, how can we get through that?
No, I mean, you got to know what your purpose is and why you're doing that work, right? So, and you got to be, what's the work that's going to be best designed to get results. And sometimes you're right. You do programs or you make efforts, and you're like, you know what? This is just turned into our group picking up trash for people. So we need to figure out another example or way to get that work done, right? And again,
Mm-hmm.
it could be something that's either more in your face or explosive, but it may be some other area. Maybe a child care center, right? It may be again a breakfast program. It may be again a cot watch. There may be other things that you could do. I know youth work is usually one of the most successful ways to connect with the community, because that includes getting parents involved and young people involved. And a lot of times that work is a way, an in to working with and talking to the community. But we also got to remember, like, folks have their own struggles. That's one reason that the
Yeah.
state depends on to make sure that people don't have time to come out and organize, is that people are hustling to feed themselves, to clothe themselves. They're hustling to have a good time. They hustling just to relax because some of them are working a couple of jobs, right? Or they got their career hustle on because the society has told them that the most important thing they can be is famous and have on shiny new clothes and medallions or whatever it is, right? So all these things are taking up space in people's heads, some worthwhile, some not.
Mm-hmm.
And so we can't get discouraged because we haven't yet found the click or the thing. And I tell people sometimes too, it's like, well, if you can't move yet, the folks who are not politicized, at the very least, then focus on the politicized people that you have. And how do you, when people are politicized, find them a home in your organization so that even by the growth in that way, you begin to attract people who are interested in it, but they have not found a way to join yet, right? But
Yeah.
we got historical precedent. We have brothers like Malcolm who walked the streets and went in front of churches and just chopped it up with people, right? We've got the other folks in the Panther Party. I've had conversations in the past with Kathleen Cleaver, who talk about how when folks were selling newspapers and those were ways to have introductory conversations to move people a little bit left, a little bit more radical, a little bit more nationalist to who they want so that folks want to join. And sometimes it's not always a service program. Sometimes it's something like that, like a conversation. Sometimes it's a barbecue that people come out to. Sometimes it's like you're going to the neighborhood association meetings and you're starting to chop it up with people who are already slightly involved and trying to move them a little bit. So what are the avenues for politicizing people? What are the avenues for doing things that people can get involved in? And again, sometimes that stuff may fail, but you may find something that starts to bring people along. And so I think you just got to keep on figuring that out, right? Figuring out what are those avenues, what are those programs.